Boom! What's up, Waves Capital? It's Royce Jacob, and welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about my top 3 favorite stocks for the month of May 2023. But before we get into specifics, because we do have plenty of charts and fundamentals to cover in regards to each of these companies, I want to make a few things clear, okay? 1, my money is where my mouth is. I have relatively large call options positions on all 3 of the stocks that we're going to be talking about today. If you want to know exactly what those are, link in the description, but more on that later because I also want to talk about my strategy for these in a bit. But 1, again, money where my mouth is. 2, I'm a big fan of all 3 of these companies, and I think all 3 of these companies have some great long-term potential. I think all of these will be great investments for the long run. But the point of this video is my favorite stocks for the month of May. Therefore, we will be focusing on the short term, which falls into number 3, is the fact that my take on each of these companies and my bullish sentiment as we progress through the month of May can be viewed as contrarian because we have earnings coming up for all 3 of these companies in the first week of May, and many analysts don't believe they're going to be doing too well, and it's evident that there's a lot of investors out there who believe the same because these stocks have not been performing as well as, I believe they should. But in my career as a trader, I've found that the contrarian approach tends to be the more lucrative approach. Obviously, you can't just spray and pray, but the contrarian approach, if you've done the proper due diligence and, if you think you have solid grounding in your bull case and, there's a lot of bears out there, that proves to be more lucrative than most because, it's easy to make money when something's very predictable. But when you're going against the grain, again, fearful when the majority are greedy, vice versa, that's when you really make those, really hit those big wins. Okay, so just wanted to make a few of those points clear. I hope I did decently in doing so. But now that that's out of the way, let's discuss the stocks that we're going to be discussing today. I'm sure most of you have already figured out what they are, but if not, they are SoFi Technologies, or ticker symbol SoFi, Coinbase, or ticker symbol Coin, and third is Veritone, or ticker symbol Veri. We'll go over each of these one by one, starting with SoFi, moving on to Coinbase, and closing it out with Veritone. Okay, before we dive into each of the charts, and I give you guys my May price targets for these stocks, or a few price scenarios that I see potentially playing out for these stocks. We're going to jump into their websites, quickly take a look at these, just give you guys the real quick summary on what these companies do if you're not already familiar. I know most of you are. So we'll just take a look at their website, real quickly explain what they do, and then dive into the charts and talk about their earnings coming up. Because again, all 3 of these announced earnings in the first week of May, and then dive into the charts. So also, I guess number 4, because they all announce earnings in the first week of May, if you happen to be watching this at a later date, you're going to know whether I'm right or wrong about this. And I want to make it very clear. And, this applies to every video I make and every video anybody who's ever talking about finance or investing, this applies to them, okay? This is just my opinion. This is speculation. Again, this is my job. I take pride in finding a lot of success in this and making a career out of this, but I can always be wrong. Okay, nothing's ever guaranteed. It's about using the data sets at hand in order to make the most rational, weigh the probabilities in your favor, and make the most rational trades possible. With the most upside potential. That's asymmetric risk, and that's what I'm trying to do here. Which once again is why I'm kind of taking a contrarian approach because again, fearful when greedy, greedy when fearful. Anyway, just want to let you guys know if I'm wrong about these, roast me in the comments. That's perfectly fine. But again, money is where my mouth is. I'm feeling confident, and even if I'm wrong, that's all right. That's the game we're playing. Okay, so SoFi is first. Online banking, loans, investments. Many of you guys know what SoFi is if you've been part of Waves Cap for a while. We've talked about SoFi for a long time. And SoFi is, elevator pitch-wise, at least in my book, banking 2.0. It's the next version of banking. It's the people's bank, okay? Kind of like crypto. It's really, again, like almost in in that gray area between crypto and the traditional banking system. It's just the next generation of banking, fully regulated, full regulation, full U.S. compliance, SEC compliance, etc. But they're just doing new things. They're doing things that many banks like, JP Morgan's, the Wells Fargo's aren't doing. And that's why I'm so bullish on them. Okay, it's the next generation of banking. And they only have a market cap of $5.6 billion. All right, they did very well today. Love to see that, up almost 7% today. But still, market cap of $5.6 billion. If we move down here, you can see their earnings are coming up first on May 1st. And, I'm bullish. If you just look at, it doesn't take a genius to look at this and realize what this trend is doing. But if you take a look at their recent earnings reports, this thing is going parabolic, okay? And although there's been a lot of issues around small banks, specifically regional banks, just the banking sector overall, which is the reason that many analysts believe SoFi could present a disappointing earnings report on May 1st. Again, SoFi, they're not just a bank, they're that next iteration of banking and just really a whole financial ecosystem within one company. I think they have so much to offer that's not only in banking, but even banking as well. And I do think they're going to impress, really exceed expectations, because expectations aren't that great, especially considering, once again, there's contagion around the banking sector in general. So I think, and again, just looking at this, it would surprise me if they don't beat expectations here. But I do think that they exceed expectations on May 1st. And when you look at their revenue as well, if you look here, quarterly revenue, just going back a year, right? Q1 of 2022, 350 mil, 390 mil, 470 mil, 560 mil. This thing is going up, and their profit, they're becoming closer to profitability with each quarter, while also, this is like a hyper growth company, you guys. The growth that they're experiencing as far as revenue is concerned is insane. So, when you look at annual revenue, last year, 1.7 billion in revenue, while they're quickly approaching profitability at a market cap of 5.7 billion. This stock seems like an absolute bargain, and I think that will be revealed once they announce earnings once again. And I'm really bullish on the FOMC meetings that happened on May 2nd and 3rd as well. So that's an even greater catalyst for SoFi stock. SoFi, you guys can see it right here. I do think that they rally into earnings, which is pretty much just tomorrow until earnings on Monday, May 1st. And I do think that the byproduct of those earnings is SoFi seeing 850 or above over the next 2 to 3 weeks, I'd say. I'll say by late May, I do think SoFi can break 850. Okay, so that's SoFi. Let's move on to Coinbase. All of you know what Coinbase is. The future of money is here. All of you know what Coinbase is. I will just say that there's been a lot of shade around Coinbase. So let's get rid of this, and I'll actually just elaborate all of this slowly for you guys. Let's focus on this. I made the last video about Coinbase talking about this inverse head and shoulders, but I want to focus on this. And you know what? If we go beyond kind of this $80, $82 to $85 price target I have in the short term, I'll make another video on it, or again, talk about it in the newsletters. But for now, Coinbase has a lot of negative press around it, right? The SEC really buckling down on them. Chamath, I don't know why he said this, but he did, saying that Coinbase or crypto is dead in America. Obviously not good news for the largest crypto exchange in America, which is Coinbase. And again, talking about moving out of the US in the wake of all this regulatory concern. But that's the thing. Coinbase, I think, will blow expectations out of the water, considering expectations are so low. Last year sucked for Coinbase when you look at, again, their annual revenue. 2021, the glory days, they made like $8 billion in revenue with net income of $3 billion. Here, last year, when, things got real chilly, winter came, $3 billion in the whole year with negative $2.6 billion in profit, so $2.6 billion loss. It's really difficult to believe that we go any lower than that, especially considering crypto has been exploding from January on. Even now, Bitcoin is outperforming the rest. You can see Riot Blockchain there. Honorable mention, and again, you guys, I will, for full transparency, Riot Blockchain is a larger position in my portfolio than Coinbase is. But I want to talk about plays that are, as I said, contrarian. underappreciated, underestimated, that I do think will really exceed in their earnings announcements. Because May is an amazing month for earnings. Right here, I'll do a quick scan right there. If you can pause that, if you're quick enough to pause that, you're good. But this is all of the waves plays that are announcing earnings over the course of May. And again, if you guys want to trade with me on a day-to-day basis, if you guys want daily updates on the stocks we're talking about, and just everything I'm doing through earnings, once again, that's the first link below. First link in the description, complete portfolio and daily newsletter. You get a complete breakdown of my entire personal portfolio, all of my call options, put options if I do have them, which I don't right now for the reasons that you may have read right here. But call options, I'm bullish going into the month of May. All my crypto positions, all my stock positions, long-term positions as well. That's $15 a month or $40 for every 3 months. But hey, try it free for 7 days. I'm confident you'll like it. That's why I have it as an offering. Even $15 a month, you guys. If you guys are part of Waves Capital already, please drop a comment below and give your honest opinion, because I'm also confident in your honesty and that the product that I provide here is a good one. Again, if you guys do want to join Waves Cap, if you want daily updates on the stocks we're talking about, along with a lot of other plays that are small caps, growth stocks, hyper growth stocks that we talk about here and love so much here on the channel. If you guys want those daily updates, then again, first link down below. That's the plug out of the way. Coinbase, again, I think they're going to crush earnings. I think that they're extremely underestimated right now. I think the optics are bad. And once again, that's why this is such a contrarian take. But I think that they crush earnings on May 4th. Volume on crypto is good. And it's not even just, with cryptocurrencies, Coinbase specifically, their revenue isn't just if Bitcoin's doing well, if Ether's doing well. It doesn't mean Coinbase is doing well. It's about the amount that's traded through their exchange, because they take a small percentage of each exchange done on their platform. But volume's been great on crypto. The more volume that is flowing through the crypto markets, the more money Coinbase is making. And when you look at the volume on cryptocurrencies, it's been popping. Coinbase, it would really, really, really surprise me if they disappointed on earnings. So again, could be wrong, but I'm feeling pretty damn confident. And lastly, money's where my mouth is. I think Coinbase can climb up to $80, $80, $82, $83 to test the line of resistance on this range. You could say that like slightly descending channel, sideways range. And I do think that happens by mid-May. Okay, so that's Coinbase. Let's close it out with Veritone real quick. And then at the end of the video, I'll read over this. I do have some points highlighted, and we'll just close it out, do a little bit of celebration with the Waves Capital, because obviously today was a good day, and I do trust that we'll be able to keep it up. Okay, so Veritone, start right here. Okay, Veritone, set that up for when we dive into the charts. Veritone, the dark horse, the AI play that has unfortunately not been doing so well, but I believe that they will. I believe that there's so much room for upside when they announce earnings on May 2nd, especially given how low the expectations are. Look at that. That's terrible expectations. I think they will impress. Okay, so Veritone, for those of you who may not be familiar, I do believe I do have a specific video on Veritone. You can check that out for a little more in-depth of an analysis. But discover the possibilities of artificial intelligence with Veritone. As creators of the world's first AI operating system, we are augmenting the human workforce by transforming use case concepts into tangible industry-leading applications and solutions. Similar to C3 AI, they are enterprise AI. They're a B2B, business-to-business AI solution, and they've actually been in the game for longer than AI. So if you're unfamiliar with any of these, as always, go to these companies' websites, go to any stock you're interested in, go to their website, go to the investor tab. Veritone has their own investor tab. And again, they have their conference call, their earnings on May 2nd. And I'm extremely excited about what that holds. So let's take a look at the charts. May 2nd is earnings. Veritone has been doing terribly in terms of price action since that big spike we saw in February in that initial AI boom. But I believe they will make a comeback. And I do believe that following a successful earnings call, again, this is my opinion, I believe Veritone comes up to test this line of long-term resistance right here. The reason this is long-term resistance is obviously because it's long-term resistance. You got touch point here at Veritone's all-time high, way back in February of 2021, over 2 years ago. Next touch point here in November of 2021, creating the overall line of resistance. This has not yet been tested. This has not been tested since November of 2021, and I do believe this will come into play. over the coming weeks. By late May, I think this will come into play, following once again what I believe will be a successful earnings report. I think that we can easily see, I shouldn't say easily see, but I think it's very possible that Veritone sees $9 by mid to late May. Okay? And I say $12 is my wish because my birthday is on 5/19. For full transparency, that is the date of some contract expirations on some call options that I hold. So, best case scenario for Veritone, if they absolutely crush it, this is optimistic even for me, would be to retest the prior low of the overall downtrend that we last saw in January of 2022 that has not yet been retested. So I do think that at some point over the course of 2023, Veritone will see $12.75 to $13. But again, you guys, when it comes to trading, it's all about timing. And at the same time, though, that's why I also hold regular stock, common shares in Veritone, and all the names we're talking about today. So on the note of trading, we've been saying this a lot lately, and it continues to ring truer and truer. Just for context, this is the macro analysis or the trade alert, whichever one I send out. I always send out the trade alert first, but sometimes I include the macro analysis in the trade alert. This is my newsletter from, I believe, yesterday. So actually 2 days in a row, I've made no trades, but that's because I'm so confident in the current build of the portfolio. So again, ring truer and truer. There are winners and there are losers in this market. It's critical that we continue to identify the winners in the mix, considering the options portfolio now consists solely of call options. You know, I've said this many times, not only in the newsletter, but on the channel as well. I'm bullish going into the FOMC meetings on May 2nd and 3rd. Therefore, I don't want to short the market. And especially considering we have so many small to mid cap earnings on the horizon. On which note, I've made no trades today, actually, again. I want to save that one. If you guys want to see these, if you guys want the PDF that I've been sending out every day in the newsletters, again, you got to sign up. Got to keep that exclusive to the team. But no trades today. I believe that we have a strong team of winners on our hands, and I believe that the majority of them will impress with their earnings reports over the coming month. And although nothing's ever guaranteed, I'm feeling confident, you guys. I'm excited for what's to come. We've done the work. We've established our positions. Now we sit back, grab the popcorn, and wait to see if our thesis pans out. Which, again, nothing's ever guaranteed, but it's all about having confidence. It's all about, again, confidence, not cockiness. When you put in the work, when you put in the time, when you deserve to win, that's when you can feel confident. So I'm excited for what's to come. I hope you guys are as well. If you do want to trade with me on a daily basis, once again, that's the first link in the description box. But if not, no worries. I do appreciate you watching this video, and I'll talk to you in the comments down below about whatever you may want to talk about. So until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.